Game Worn Radio is on the air.
Hey! Shelton scores! Up in the Cordova, baby! We're going bowling. Now, let's go on Moose on a Harley. The fires, he scores! L.A. face with an Oakland booty. Make me a bicycle clock. They score! Bowmeister paid that man his money.
Game Worn Radio.
Hey everybody, it's Derek with GameWorn Radio. We're a part of GameWorn.us. Today we're going to be talking about previous expos, shows, gatherings that everybody's been attended to, and hopefully if we have time we can talk about the recent NHL Auctions fiasco that some of our guys will have some insights on. So joining us today we've got Doc, Bert,
Hello,
Dan, and Paul.
What up?
I think Paul might be still away, we'll see.
I'm
But
back.
all right. Well, I know myself. I've been to quite a few expos and shows. I've been to East Coast stuff, West Coast stuff, and I'm going to the Meigray one next week, which I still have to book my hotel for. So we'll see how that goes. But we'll start with one of you guys. Who wants to talk first? Paul, you've organized one, so let's hear your take.
Yeah, I guess 2 years ago we organized what turned out to be a fairly monster show in San Jose. It started out, the intention was to make it small, and it just kept growing and growing. Fortunately, GameWorn.us did stream the whole thing. Setting it up, it was a challenge, to put it mildly. We didn't know exactly how to pay for this. None of us had really done this before. Mitch Amelia was the only one with any experience on it. And while he was a huge help, it was just difficult to get off the ground. We ended up financing it through, we combined it with the Sharks game, actually with two games. And we sold those tickets for like $15 over what the Sharks sold them to us with dinner. And that paid for about half the expo. The other half was paid for by a donation from GameWorn-jerseys.net. And we were able to fund it that way. But part of our panicking of trying to figure out how to fund the expo, we were asking for donations of items that we could raffle off. Ended up having a huge raffle, and at the end of the day, we made $1,000 for charity. We were originally planning on using that money to pay for the expo, but we had it covered through the ticket sales and the donation. So local charities got $1,000 out of us. It was hectic, but it was a really good time. I mean, a lot of you guys, Derek Whitaker, Derek Christensen, Matthias Handel from Germany. Lots of people came from the East Coast, Matthias from Germany, Southern California. It was just a blast. And this past year, I didn't have the energy to do something as large as we did the first year. So we just did a small little thing at a pizza place in Redwood City. And by the time that rolled around, it was fabulous. The pizza place gave us free rent and stuff for there, so we didn't have to pay them. And I think we had about 20 or 30 of us there, including Tim Watcher from up in Vancouver, Martin Voll from Germany. And it was just a fun evening of seeing a lot of jerseys, no speakers or anything. And once again, GameWorn.us streamed that. So that's been my experience hosting them. I had the pleasure of going to the Toledo Expo last year, which Larry always does a great job with. And I'm trying to find a way to make it there this Saturday to New Jersey.
I hope you can go.
I'm trying. I just need a flight, which is an $800.
Doc, how have you been to any rate recently?
I honestly, with being in right in Springfield, I'd love to get to one. I hope to get to Toledo next year. Just with family and marriage and getting married and all this other stuff, I've just not had the ability to go. I'd love to get out to the Meigray Expo at some point, just to be able to see their warehouse alone and and drool all over everything in there. So that's the plan in the next year or so, is at least get to Toledo, get to a close one, and then get out to the Meigray Expo, because it runs right concurrent to my birthday as always, so I could always get birthday money.
Now, a lot of people might not know about me. They might know me, but I'm actually still fairly new in the hobby, which is kind of ironic. I think I got started, what would you say, Paul, like in 2012?
That sounds about right.
2011, 2012.
Yeah.
I know my first jersey came just a little bit before the first Toledo show that I went to. I know last year was the third year of the Toledo show, or like they do 3 years in between. So yeah, right around 3-4 years. And my first experience was the Toledo show that they did back then. And it's really funny because I met a lot of people there, but unfortunately I was so new at the time that a lot of it didn't stick with me. And I'm starting to find more and more people that I met there that I didn't realize at the time. For example, there was somebody in Chicago, Dave, that was there at the show. And just recently, I went to a goalie camp in Chicago, and I was looking for places to stay. And Dave was like, "Hey, I remember you from the Toledo show. You can crash at my place." And he let me stay the week. He showed me his collection. It was pretty epic. And just I had a place to crash right across the street from the arena that the camp was being held at. And he had pictures of me from the show, which is really funny. And I couldn't for the life of me remember or put a face to the name, but he knew me, and that was a really, really cool feeling. So that was like my very first experience to any sort of expo or anything, and it was really awesome. So I got to go to the Toledo one 3 years after that, which was just this past year, and I had a bunch of people crash at my place, which was awesome. Christensen came, Paul was here. Joel stayed at my place. We met up with Chris Jurina, and his wife Michelle, and Francis Ratty, and it was a good time. A bunch of us went to the game, and then we went to this little dive pizza joint in Toledo. So I mean, it's a really cool place to actually meet people, let alone see some really cool things. I know Sean Broderick was at the show just recently, and that his collection's awesome to see. So I'm really anticipating this Meigray show because I don't know what to expect.
I for one go to the Meigray show every year, and the other one I go to is the Northern Virginia one that Francis puts together. And one thing I will say, the Meigray show is a little bit more. You don't see as much wheeling and dealing as you do at the smaller shows that I've been to. But I mean, because for one thing, at the Northern Virginia one, I probably come home with 15 different jerseys every year. Just trades here and trades there, and it's the same guys, but it's just a cool thing. And then we go out and have a couple pops after. And so, where the Meigray stuff, a lot of it is just kind of jaw dropping. It's just jerseys you'll never be able to actually own, but it's just great to go and look and talk about this, talk about that. And it's not a kind of wheeling and dealing kind of show where some of the other ones that I've been to, everybody's trading, which is part of the fun thing of the hobby for me.
Eric, have you gotten a chance to go to anything like that?
No, you know what? I've only gone to the Blackhawk conventions. This will be the 8th one up in a row I've gone to out of 8. It seems like the Meigray shows actually end up the last handful of years the same weekend or around that time frame. So it's a matter of either being around the Chicago area and spending money there, or making the trip there. So if I did that, I wouldn't be able to buy anything. So the convention is pretty much where I've been residing. I would like to. It's just a matter of time and money, basically.
Dan, I know you're a little bit new, but how about you? Any plans to go to any?
Yeah, I would like to go to the Meigray one at some point, or the Toledo one. They do theirs every 3 years, but I'm in the same boat as Jason. The Meigray one falls right around my son's birthday, so that takes up time. When you deal with that with family issues, I would be more interested in though probably in the smaller ones. It'd be kind of cool, even though seeing the Meigray, as you said, seeing the jerseys upon jerseys, or as Bert said it, that just the umpty there would be great. But also being just with local collectors, talking about your own collection, why you collect this or why you collect that, and maybe make a few trades would be pretty cool.
Now
So
for you
one
guys,
day,
go
one
ahead.
day I hope to. One day I hope to get to one.
That'd be great to see you guys. And I'm pretty excited to meet you, Bert, because you're going to be at the Meigray thing, right?
Hopefully. I got my girlfriend's expecting any day now, so hopefully she can keep it in there for one more week.
Yeah, mine's coming next month, but I'm taking the chance anyway.
One of the cool things about the Meigray Expo, of course, is they have some of these jerseys that you just only dream about owning. Is some of the dealers that they have. Like there's been a year where Steiner came in and just brought everything. Then, you just had the guys in the hobby, and we obviously know a lot about, jerseys and stuff. And, Steiner had no clue what they brought. It was just a mishmash of everything. And, Milt's been there in the past, and, Larry, of course, he knows his stuff. From classic stuff. So it's always been kind of cool to see some of the dealers that they have too. The Meigray Expo is pretty cool for stuff like that too. And of course the grab bags and the people that they bring from, last year was pretty cool to see Berube, and they've had Ken Danico and Chico Resch and those guys. So in the past.
Yeah, and this year they had two? Are we considering it 2 grab bags? One for people that are going and one for people that couldn't make it. And I believe they already opened the ones for people that couldn't make it. And I think there's a mix of 3 Ovechkin jerseys. I think we've seen 2 of them pop up already.
Right. The live one is I think 50, and 1 Ovechkin in that one. So.
Did any of you guys get grab bags?
No, I did it once before, and I didn't like my draw. So I didn't take a chance this time. I was saving up for something else.
Oh, I got one, so I do
And
pretty well. I do pretty well in them, so I'm always in on them.
Yeah,
Jason?
No, say go ahead.
Paul?
Yeah, I ended up passing on the grab bag this time. I was intending on buying one, and I just spaced on the timing. And not knowing if I was going to be at the show or not, I was trying to determine which one to get, and it sold out before I made my decision. But I've also been pretty happy with past grab bags, especially the Toledo show. So I wish I would have gotten in on this one.
And that's how I was. It was all about timing, and I thought about it, and then all of a sudden I lost track of time, and I see everybody opening them making their posts on Facebook, opening them up. I'm like, yep, I blew it.
They sold pretty damn quick. The ones that weren't going to be at the expo. I mean, those sold within a day.
Yeah. One guy got a practice jersey. At least that's what he posted on there. He said it was a Dallas Stars practice jersey was his grab bag.
Yeah, I think there was a different mix in there. So you could be a big winner or you could really be a big loser.
Yeah. And I thought, the price, I was like, that kind of stunk. But the guy that got the Ovechkin, of course, he made out like a bandit,
In past years in the Meigray Expo grab bag, they've been authentics too. So the fact you get anything with anything is usually a plus. And I think it was $199 or something like that, or $149. That's kind of gambling, but it's still cool to get something as opposed to a blank Atlanta Thrashers. So.
Yeah, it looks like in the most recent ones you had an 80% chance to get a preseason or training camp jersey.
Now, is there any other events that would have grab bags besides the Meigray one? I know the Blackhawks the last 3 years, something like that, have had grab bags per se, where they raffle. You got to find one of the equipment managers a few of the recent years and get a ticket in order to even get involved in the grab bags, where years past it was just you line up first come, first serve. So I think there's people kind of hoarding the tickets the first few years, so you had to track it down the person to get the ticket in order to even get a chance for the grab bag. So between the Hawk sale and the Meigray, is there any other expos that do such grab bags at all?
I know Meigray takes grab bags to different various events that they go to. I'm trying to think offhand if there's anything else that I've heard of. I know a lot of them do raffles, but grab bags are just kind of a different animal.
Well, in any of that kind of stuff, you've got to have a large stock to be able to pull that off, and from the seller's perspective, make any money.
Yeah, Expo though, Steiner has done a couple grab bags in the past year, basically clearing out Ranger stock, and some pretty decent jerseys in that, from the last couple of years. I know Larry tried to do a grab bag 2-3 months ago.
Yeah.
And just the interest wasn't there, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And he had a lot of cool stuff that was in that one. But there is something cool about opening up the grab bag at an expo.
Yeah.
Oh, and I guess also the Canucks kind of had a grab bag thing, which Derek
that's right.
quite well in.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. They actually called it the mystery box or something like that. But they had, I think it was letters A through Z, so what is that, 24 possibilities? And they sold 26. Yeah, okay, 26. Thank you. But they actually started selling them during hockey games, and then I believe they opened them up to orders. So it was phone orders, and I called in and talked to Erickson. He was pretty cool, and he hooked me up. I think it was like they were a little bit higher price than some of the ones we're used to. I think they were around $500. But you could get anywhere between grand prize being, a Hendrik Sedin game-worn jersey, down to a single jersey of somebody. But they also had some interesting ones where you could get a home and an away jersey in the same box of a lesser player. So
that's
was pretty
nice.
Cool. Yeah, I mean, I saw a couple people open up. I think there was a Millionaires jersey in there, something like that, one of those throwback style ones. But lucky me, I got sent, I think it was box D, and I got the Hendrik Sedin.
Definitely a nice box to get.
Oh, no doubt. Whenever you get a grand prize, it's always nice. So I talked to Erickson, let him know what I got, because he's always curious about who gets what. And he said he loved that one because there's a huge mark on it. And I didn't even have to tell him about it. He knew exactly which one, it had a mark on it that he was like, oh, yeah, you could photo match that real easy, which, yeah, it definitely was. So, I mean, really cool experience. And I love working with the Vancouver Canucks just because Ericsson's so awesome. And, I mean, we even wrote an article about the autograph tags that they're doing. So, I mean, just what they're doing within that organization is really awesome.
And you got that because were you out in Vancouver to get that, or is it something you saw where you could pre-order it?
They originally tried to sell them during the game, and they didn't really take off during the game. So I think they had a little bit more than half of them left. So they opened them up to online and phone orders.
Okay.
So I gave them a call and got hooked up.
Yeah.
So it's always good to try and stay on top of news and stuff, which is one of the things we try to do at GameWorn.us is give you guys tidbits of news of things that are going on here and there that you might not know otherwise. And we try to source it from collectors reading different things and trying to scrape information ourselves. So if you have a good tip or something on something like that, hit our forums and we'll throw it up on the main page so people can know about it. No sense in being super secret unless it's something that you want to harbor.
I haven't got that impression, but it seems like through the fan pages and through the GameWorn.us, it seems like you can find a lot of information. Word of mouth, or you might see it advertised.
Yeah, I mean the hardest part about finding these team deals and things like that, especially with like the Canucks with the grab bags, is they try to put it out on social media. So most people aren't going to follow every 32 team. You guys can correct me on this. Is it 30 or 32 or 36 or whatever? However many teams are in the league. We're not going to all follow them on Facebook and follow them on Twitter. That way our news feeds can just get annihilated and we're going to get pummeled with a bunch of stuff we don't care about. That's the hardest part, is getting the information specific to the hobby that we want to know. So nobody's really going to follow all those teams. So what we try to do is find that information and put it out there. So we were lucky enough to get a lead on the grab bags. I can't even remember how we sourced it, but we did put it out there so people could know, and they ended up selling all of them, which was really cool.
And it helps, I think, reach out to some of those teams, and like I said, I've had good luck at least talking to the people at the Blue Note shop or the True Blue store on what's going on with their jerseys. And when they put out the last batch, they were nice and sent emails out to everybody on the list on what they just threw in the stores. And the more contacts we can make with teams like that, it helps, because you don't have just the fans in your city.
Yeah, I mean, I saw the Blues because you posted it, Jason. You posted on the web that the Blues were selling jerseys, and I called down there, and they had an Elliott left, So I think that's, if somebody makes a contact and the word spreads, then people can get involved in the grab bags or raffles and stuff like that,
Well, and Derek talked about the use of social media more. I don't know if there's been a management change or somebody just got the bright idea, but the True Blue store has both Facebook and Twitter, and I've never seen them use it as much as they have this season with both stuff going on sale and with equipment and jerseys and that. And that's where I've seen a lot of that pop up too, is in between them sending me emails directly, they're putting it out on their social media to get it out all over. And I think a lot of teams, especially for their sales on stuff like that, need to push that more.
Yeah, the Blues probably hired somebody or told somebody that you're now in charge of this and this is what we want you to do.
Let's hope.
I'd really like to see the teams get a little bit more on board with you feeding us information as well. I mean, that's great that you're getting it on social media, but like I said, we're not going to follow all the teams, but we might be interested in getting a jersey here and there. So part of your social media package needs to be targeted advertisement or getting that information to that specific niche market, because that's where the bulk of your sales are going to come from. And I think a lot of teams really miss that point.
Yeah, the Admirals here, the local Admirals, I've asked them, try to get them to say, why don't they do more jerseys? Why don't they sell more jerseys? And their answer was, we don't want to flood the market. And they are thinking that the same people are going to keep buying them. And I'm like, it's hard for me. I'm like thinking, well, there's fans out there that want, the jerseys, and it's almost like you're not, lightning hoarding them, but you're hoarding them,
That's their answer today. I've heard that for 20 years, though. It changes with different management and different philosophies, and
yeah,
that's the nice thing about teams through the Meigray program. You know what you're getting. You know when it's been worn. I mean, I recently picked up a jersey from the Islanders. It actually didn't come directly from the Islanders. It came from a collector who got it from the Islanders, but it's tagged the wrong season. The style is a style they didn't even wear in said tag season. It says it's a preseason. It's photo matched to the regular season. I mean, it's an abomination. I'm like, oh my goodness, what is this thing?
Can I take a guess on which one that one is?
Go for it.
Is that the Nate Lawson you have?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. It's the wrong style for that season.
Well, that goes back to what Derek was saying. I wish some teams would let people like Derek or Paul know, and we could, we can help them, get it right. So we don't have abominations,
Yeah.
I think part of it goes to them actually caring, and I know we've touched on it in other shows, but for example, my local team, Toledo Walleye. I've reached out to them numerous times about how they handle game worn jerseys and things like that. And this year was just a huge uproar. Everybody wanted some because the team did so well, and they did a ruck-amuck way. I mean, I made out pretty decent for getting them myself. I know, Dan, you know this, but
Yeah.
they just made it really hard. Like, they took lists, and some were sold to people that weren't on the list that we've discovered, and it was just a ruck-amuck. You never know when should I send in the email to get them, because if you send it in too soon, then they tell you send it in later, and they never tell you when. So then you send in your list and you found out, oh well, there's 5 people ahead of me. And I mean, it's just not a cool situation. Not to mention they have a rack, and it's pretty damn full of a bunch of jerseys from previous seasons. And I've been in there and I've tried to take inventory just to let other people know here's what they still have. But they kind of make it hard to do that, and I have to do it on my own time as opposed to them voluntarily working with me and things like that. But there's people out there that think these jerseys are cool. They don't even care who the player is. They're just like, oh, I like that logo, I like that design, so I want to get one. And they really miss the point on that. And it's hard to get some of these guys that are in these positions to realize that. No matter how much you try to talk to them, it seems like they don't care. They want to ignore, let me do my thing. It's crazy.
Yeah.
If you got a rack of jerseys, you should probably do what you can to sell it.
Yeah, if it's sitting in the team store and it's not selling, well, who sees the team store? Toledo. I mean, so do an auction online. Do a grab bag online. Take them to do something with them. Let the collectors get a hold of them if you're not going to do anything with them, you know?
Yeah, you're preaching to the choir on that.
Yeah, I found the Hamilton Bulldogs about a month ago did their auction on their website, but they didn't advertise it at all. I only found it in a haphazardly way through off Twitter, and I mean no one knew about it. And I was hoping to catch a Jared Tenorti cheap, and unfortunately that one went crazy. But
the Adirondack Flames, with now the Adirondack Thunder, they posted them on their like team store, but they didn't advertise it. I found it because some guy just posted what he got. And I asked him, and he's like, "Oh yeah, it's at the team store." Really? And I happened, was able to get one, but no advertising.
That's like the Flames threw theirs up for 150, a bunch for 150 up there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I think somebody posted that one, but same thing with the Meigray. They kind of got posted late, unless you had some inside. Some of the better ones were gone,
Well, that's one of the nice things about Meigray and our hobby is we know Meigray is the place to go for specific teams, which is great. But all these other teams, it's a crapshoot, and that's why it's going to be really cool to go to that expo this weekend. Is just kind of, I haven't seen the warehouse ever, so I think that'll be a really cool experience.
And I need your assistance, Derek, when you go there. I've seen people post pictures that have been in that warehouse. I guess they have a bunch of goalie chest protectors laying around, game-worn ones from players. Find out what some of those prices are, because I need some new ones.
Well, one of my plans is to stream the show, or stream, the expo live through our live stream account. So we're going to see how that goes. And I'm going to bring a tablet with me so I can stay mobile. So we'll see how good the Wi-Fi signal is into the warehouse. Maybe I'll get lucky and it'll be good and I can stream from in there. So We'll see.
Well, one of the coolest thing about the Meigray sale is that the Meigray convention is that you get the first dibs at the sale, and it's not just what's online. They have a ton of stuff that's part of what they call a sidewalk sale. So they'll have, in years past, they have tons of Devils gloves, sticks. I personally got a couple Edmonton Oilers equipment bags, and that I use, they had all the training camp preseason jerseys for the Flyers and caps that they were just throwing out there for $75, and they were just going. So I go after all the enforcers, and they have fight wear on them where they may play 1 or 2 rookie camp games in these things, and they don't have much more than maybe a stick mark. But a fight in one game, you can get decent wear out of it. So that's the coolest thing this year. And they added Columbus this year. I'm having a feeling they might get a lot of Columbus's kind of, because these teams, they just ship everything. They don't know what they have. I mean, I've heard that when Dallas, Minnesota moved to Dallas, when they got Dallas like in the late '90s, they still have jerseys they don't know what to do with, just because they have no idea where they're from. You know, it's just, but they're not necessarily in the warehouse. So it's cool when they whip out the sidewalk sale, and it's like, okay, what's in here? And, you know, some years I've walked out with sticks that you play with that are pro model rejects that, you know, guy didn't like it for whatever reason, and it sure beats paying 150 plus to play in it when you can get it for 50 there. So,
Well, I sure wish I would have known this a couple weeks ago, so I could have fire saled a bunch of my stuff since I'm already in debt a little bit, and I got a baby on the way.
you bring the Ryder truck down. That's what you got to do.
Ugh. Well, at least I'm bringing all my stuff, so maybe I'll get lucky and someone will be like, "How much for that?" And I'll tell you what, buddy, you buy this stuff over here, and we'll do a trade.
I mean, yeah, well, like last year I was walking out and I see all the Caps, you know, rookie camp preseasons from the past 4 or 5 seasons. There was Grant McNeil, there was Pinizzotto, guys who got a couple cups in the NHL. You know, $75. I mean, you can't do better than that. So.
Well, I've got one of those through somebody else, and I mean it's the exact same big deal as a preseason one or camp jersey. It's exactly like they're gamers in every way, and for the money, hell, you can't beat it.
Yeah. Exactly.
Now, as far as recent events go, just recently, you guys were talking about earlier before the show, the Minnesota Wild released a bunch of jerseys. In my opinion, flooded a bunch of jerseys. But some of you guys said you saw some of that, so what are your thoughts?
I grabbed a Stu Bickle for $250. I got the green alt, which I loved that style. So the green script alt that they wear. But I didn't look at any of the big names. I saw Koivu for $750. I thought that was somewhat reasonable, right? So
They had them up on their website, and then they were gone. All they had was the game use sticks. So I'm assuming they did something with season ticket holders or some local sale. And then they were back up. Somebody posted a message, and they were back up, and they included this year's jerseys. And Dubik was like 1,200. Parisi was 11. Suter was, I think, 1K. All this year's jerseys, three and four different jerseys, you know. And they lowered some prices on some of the other ones too. But it's like they just brought all of their stuff and said, okay, we're going to start selling all these jerseys. So,
and the tricky part for those big name jerseys too is how many they had. I think I saw like 8 suitors.
Dubik, I saw 3 for Dubnik. I saw 4 for Parisi, and I think Suter I saw at least 4. I don't think so.
Yeah, there were 6 for Koivu, who had the C. So, yeah.
I mean, when you release all these at one time, putting a big price tag on there when there's so many of them available it's not going to help. You know, you release one, you make it look like desirable a little bit, like, oh, I don't know how many there are. But you release them all in one whack like that when people previously didn't know how many there are. Oh, well, now we know there's 50.
Well, there's a guy out there that dealt with the Wild a lot. I think he's from that area, and I've chatted with him a couple times through the pages and stuff, and he's said the same thing that you've said about other teams. He said the Wild don't have a clue what they're doing. He said they're really hard to work with. They don't put them out there. They put them out there. He thinks they price them high, and you know, he had a lot of information on, but I think he's been dealing with the Wild for, oh good God, it seems like forever. He seemed like the way he was talking. So I took it for what it was worth and said, you know, and he said they don't do anything. The price is the price. They don't negotiate. They don't offer any type of discounts or anything like that. So
yeah, I've seen the Wild around for a little while, and it just seems like their stuff sits, and it sits, and it sits. So I mean, there's no surprise there.
Yeah.
Well, this sale, they do seem to be selling quite a few. How the sale started, they had like 2 or 3 days where it was open for a garage sale type thing there. And a lot of locals were picking up a lot of the older jerseys at $250 each. And then when they opened it up on, was it Thursday, they put the last 2 years up first, and then they started slowly trickling out older ones, going all the way back to 2000, 2001. And a lot of those were priced at like 250 each. I'm looking at the 2000, 2001 jerseys. They're 250 or 350 for what they have left. They only have 6 jerseys left now. But social media wise, a lot of us were sitting on the GameWorn Hockey Facebook group and just finding all sorts of stuff we had been looking for, which they had reduced to 250, and it was selling quickly. They now have 309 jerseys left up there. Based on what I've seen go by, they sold at least 100 during the sale. So they're getting out there. I mean, I know it's flooded, but at 250 each, there's some good stuff out there.
Yeah, 250 you can't really shake a stick at for any jersey. I mean, that's pretty much the cost anyway.
Yeah, I ended up picking up a handful of Danny Heatley jerseys for a friend who, they were previously priced at $750 to $1,250 there, and they reduced them all to $250. So,
oh, wow. If I would have saw those, I would have picked some up.
Yeah, I mean, they went, very quickly because I grabbed them.
Yeah, no doubt.
But yeah, no, there's still some good stuff out there for $250, and I'm kind of shocked at how much they pushed out there. They also have jerseys which are not listed yet because they're not, probably due to the fact they're not photographed, but not the entire stock is up there yet.
Yeah, there's seasons they haven't even listed, like 07, 08. I'm just waiting on that season for Chris Simon.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah, they haven't even.
They had an older one I was watching and trying to get information on, and now it's gone. So they must have had it sold at their garage sale or whatever. Maybe they dropped the price and sold it. So,
speaking of which, you should bring up the Meigray flash sale that they had, last week, as well.
Yeah, around the same time.
Yeah, where they were
last.
Didn't they do it 99, 149, and 199? And they kind of staggered it out how they released them.
Yeah. So it was like a bunch for 99, bunch for 149, a bunch for 199. Yeah. Hobby Bullens and Turcos for 199 is a fantastic deal.
Yeah, that's what someone. Yeah, I tried to do a search for, just do a $99 search, and I guess I typed it in wrong or whatever. I just couldn't get to it. So I'm like, man, I don't feel like going through every single team trying to find out who's on sale. So.
Yeah, there was a way that you could actually sort the entire stock of everything they had by price. I forget exactly how you do it, but somebody showed me how.
Yeah, I was trying, but like I said, I kept coming up with the Avalanche. I don't want. I mean, there's the one Avalanche I would have taken wasn't for $99. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna keep going. So
all out of those $99 Joe Sackics. Sorry.
Yeah, what all did you get?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, I got. I took all their Luke Gazdics. They had them all up there. I actually had a buddy text me, and I pulled off the side of the road and got my iPad out, and that's when I got all their Gazdics. It was mostly Edmonton Oilers and Forcers, and I've already traded. I haven't picked them up yet, but I've already traded them, or sold them. A couple of them. Strudwick, Eager, Hordichuk, Stortini, Sotheby, all those guys. So, but yeah, I saw the 199, Hobby Bullens, the 199 Turco from the Stars, I think it was a 149 Brooks Like from the Caps. I mean, there were some good deals. I mean, for $99, I mean, for a regular season NHL jersey, that's fantastic.
Yeah, you definitely can't beat that.
Yeah, even if it's a guy you don't care about.
I mean, even for a game issue, that's not bad. I mean, I'll get a game issue jersey for $100 because it's cheaper than the authentic. Shoot.
Yeah,
that's true.
And there's still a handful. I'm on the site now trying to sort through, and there's a handful. There's still some Oilers, some Dallas, a couple other ones in there. Dallas still has quite a few. A handful of Edmonton. A good mix out there yet. But like you said, for $99, I mean, they're regular season games, and you might find. I mean, there's some decent players in there for $99. even an old Mike Van Ryn Florida Panthers.
Yeah, they had a couple of those up there. Yeah.
And I passed on his. One of my collecting focuses is former Wolverines. And this sale, we were missing one team, and that was the Colorado Avalanche. And just based on principle, I could not buy an Avalanche jersey earlier. Also being a Red Wings fan, they reduced the Kevin Porter jerseys to $99. So we were able to complete our former Wolverine collection thanks to this Meigray sale. And I didn't feel too bad about spending $99 on an Avalanche jersey. That's it. And then picked up some other stuff. In addition, I could not pass on the Andrew Cogliano Oilers jerseys. He's always been one of our favorites. And then I found Byron Little Thrashers jersey just out there and picked that up. But once again, it was a fun sale. Everyone was sitting on the Facebook group, putting links to stuff they found and they weren't buying, or mentioning what they got. And there were some real gems there. It was a really interesting hour and a half of just people scrambling. And I hope they do the sale again.
Thinking about it, with them doing so much so close to the expo with the grab bags and this fire sale, it really makes me curious as to what they have in store for us for the expo. It's got to be something sweet. I mean, because you can't just do all that stuff and then do nothing at the expo, can you?
Anyone have cash left?
Yeah,
I do. I didn't buy anything.
maybe they're.
You're
just
having a
nice.
baby, Derek.
Not me. I'm done.
Yeah, Derek, you don't know how much money you're going to spend until you have a baby.
I don't know yet.
Yeah, you don't know yet.
Ignorance is bliss.
Maybe they're just trying to clear out some extra stuff to make the better stuff they have more desirable. If they had the $99 stuff at the expo, that's probably what people would focus on and not focus on maybe the more desirable stuff.
Well, the old stuff, the 2002 out to like 2009 or 10, is upstairs. They have like an upstairs kind of room that you kind of walk up to. So maybe they were clearing up stuff to put the 2009, 10, or 10, 11 stuff up there.
Yeah.
As they get newer stuff in. I mean, it's a pretty sweet warehouse, especially if Derek, if you're gonna go digging through the minor league stuff, that's like needle in a haystack going through some of that stuff. You're kind of going through there like, oh, I had no idea, they had all this stuff back here. So it's on the website, but until you actually get there and you see, 200, whatever jerseys of this said ECHL team, you would never realize it, and you just kind of flip through it. You could spend hours in there.
Now, the expos when they kick off the summer sale, right?
Right. So after the sale, after the convention, after the expo, it's typically around 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock or so. They open up the warehouse to everybody that was at the convention, and then it's Madhouse Central. So.
And generally, what is it? It's like 2 years back to 0203 is half off.
Yeah, they've changed that in recent years, but if they keep on par with what they've been doing, it'd be the year 12-13 would be either half off or buy one get one free at that price, something like that.
That's not too bad.
Yeah, it just makes it harder if you want to buy like a $1,400 jersey. Then you have to spend $1,400 because you have to find another $1,400 jersey. It's easier if it's just buy one and it's half, and you spend your $700 or whatever, and you don't feel so bad to have to buy some other $1,400 jersey, or find a partner to go in with you or something like that.
How long did they keep the warehouse open for after the expo?
Until you're done spending money.
Wow. Because I can picture Derek being there till Sunday.
Well, here's the thing: they don't open up the summer sale for everybody else until they close down there. So
great. So I gotta wait.
You gotta wait for Derek to get out of the warehouse.
No, we're gonna be sending a request to Derek.
Yeah, that's about. I think that's what we should do. Just send our request to Derek. Let Derek go shopping.
Hey, you got to get those lists and make them small, prioritized because I got to be out of there. I got to drive back from Jersey to Toledo Saturday night, so that's a good 8-hour drive, and I'm not
Yeah,
trying to
Bert,
be.
Bert, you're the closest one, aren't you?
I'm about hour and a half, 2 hours away.
Yeah, let me see. Because you're in Delaware, right?
Right. So
And they do up in New Jersey.
yeah. This is up in the Branchburg. So, and
Which is
they're
by
not
what?
they're not too far away. The Raritan Valley College where they have it, Raritan Valley College rather, where they have it is like 3 miles away.
What's the big city that's near?
Oh, New York probably.
Oh, New York. Okay.
Yeah. If you're looking for hotels, I mean, in that area of Jersey, there's no problem. I mean, you might have to drive 15 minutes or something, but
Yeah, I'm last minute in my hotel.
yeah, you'll have no problem for one night. Unless you play, I have a couple buddies that go up there for the Friday night and they'll meet up. And there's been times where, I don't know if you guys know Mike Hogan, who runs the Ice Violence website. He's had like a little mini expo the night before the expo, and we've done trades and gotten together and gotten liquored up and whatnot, and end up picking up jerseys and selling jerseys and all that stuff, and it's fun. So
That might
That's
be the
kinda-
most interesting part, just getting together with other collectors and trading before the show. That might be more interesting in the show itself. I don't know.
yeah, I mean, it's really interesting to see the dealers that show up at the convention. I haven't looked and see what dealers are coming because I'm game day notice for that for the convention, but it's just like years when Steiner showed up and Milt Byron showed up one year and just had hundreds of sticks. I mean, and it was like 2 for $10. You just pilfering through this, and somebody picked up a Gretzky Titan, and he's like, oh yeah, not that one. And I found like an Anton Stasny, and I was like, what the hell do I want this for? But I sold it on eBay for like $150. So it's like, it's just amazing some of the dealers that show up. Like, that escapes me right now. Oh, Joe Tomlin was there one year. These guys don't want to go home empty-handed, so they'll wheel and deal with you a little bit too. Yeah, they have a price list, but at some point you got to pay for your hotel there. So, and Steiner comes with their racks of who knows what. So your guess is as good as mine, kind of racks. So.
Yeah, I'm hoping I can get Paul to find a cheap flight into Detroit so I can have a driving buddy.
I'm trying. Right now, the best is 650, so it's getting better. But
It's gonna be one of those last minute things.
that is my plan. Of
But
finding
we got to
some-
make it happen.
Oh,
I need a
but
hand and a friend.
Yeah, I would love to go to this. So trying to
Yeah,
make it work.
If you're a jersey collector, you have to go to this at least once, just because of some of the stuff that you don't see. Because there's been years because my daughter's birthday is close to when they usually have this, and I haven't been able to make it because of that. But and I'm sitting there waiting for the sale to start, and I'm sitting there looking at it like a Jordan 22 Preds, and it's gone. I'm like, oh damn! If I was just at this thing, I'm thinking I'm missing that. But then you go to these things, and the other stuff that's there is the best part. The sidewalk sale is the best part because you just walk out with sticks of, I walked out with a Zach Parise stick for $50 and, all these preseason training camp jerseys that are, regular season style for $75. You can really, crush it there. Not to mention anything that you might actually be looking for that's on the website.
Now, in addition to all the jersey stuff they got going on, they got Mike Bossy coming in to talk.
Yeah, and in the past, I've actually kind of skipped that one, had lunch, but to hear Danico talk and Berube last year, and they talk a little bit about their collection, about what they have, and jersey wise, it's interesting to hear that Chico Resch, because he has a pretty extensive collection of his stuff, and Berube, was talking about, oh yeah, I got one from every team, I even have a Toronto Maple Leafs, and I was like, I've never seen a Maple Leafs Berube. I was like, oh. It's like, see if he'll trade me one of his old flyers or something for that one. So, it's just, amazing that the guys they get there and they have talk about their stuff.
You think we're gonna see that Bossy from the auctions earlier in the year show up at the show?
I wouldn't be surprised if that is owned by Barry. It was, remember when the Ken Moros came out from Miracle on Ice in the gold medal game, ended up showing up at the Expo a month later.
I didn't even think of that. For some reason, I don't think of Barry as a player in those auctions.
I think he does quite a bit there, or if not him, Stu.
Yeah, I think that'll be a pretty interesting thing for me. Is I know at the Toledo show 3 years ago, Barry was there, and for me, it didn't quite click like Barry for my guys. It's like whatever. But now it'll be pretty interesting with GameWorn.us stuff going on. Sitting down with Barry and kind of catching up and seeing what's going on.
Yeah, he's pretty much a Rangers guy. He's a pretty extensive Rangers collection. He has, one of the only 94 Cup jerseys out there. He's got some old Wolves. I heard he's going to be bringing some of them. So, old Rangers Wolves, which will be cool. You haven't really started collecting until you own a wool jersey, because it's just amazing to hold it and look at it and be like, how the hell do they play in this thing? It's scratchy. It's 1,000 pounds. It's, you sweat in it and you're like, oh my God, this is like playing hockey in your work clothes. I mean, it's terrible. But, it's really cool to own something like that. I own one from like a minor league team. But just, that's when you really go, man, this is just a cool hobby to own one of these vintage wool jerseys, or even look at them and touch them and hold them. It's kind of cool.
Yeah, definitely a piece of history. It's why we do what we do.
Yeah.
It
puts
wanted to
things
talk
in
to you. Go ahead.
for sure.
What's that?
It puts things in perspective for sure. To the new Air Knits and Reebok, this, that, and then you have old wool jerseys. So.
Yeah, definitely. So I wanted to talk to you guys, since we're kind of getting close to wrapping up, and see what everybody's thought is on the call about something we're going to be trying to do with the radio show as far as formatting goes for scheduling. I was thinking about doing it bi-weekly, so once every other week, and it was requested to do a time slot for a little bit earlier for East Coasters, since 10 to 11 is a little bit late for them, especially like even me doing this show, because I got to wake up in the morning on Monday and go to work. So we're going to think about doing like one show in one time slot a month. So you've got one probably around 7 or 8 o'clock Eastern time, and then we'll do the standard 10 o'clock. So once every other week. And if it picks up, we can kind of do it a little bit more frequently. But what do you guys think of that? Don't all jump in at once.
Doesn't bother me. I can do it any however you need us to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fine here as well.
You guys think you'd be able to join both of them?
Yep.
Cool. Yeah, I don't want to like push for every single week unless we really need to. Just because it's kind of hard to stay up on current events and things like that, or create content. But if we get more content, we can definitely schedule maybe special event shows and things like that too.
That's an idea. Do it every other week, and if there's like the Meigray Expo, that could be a special event. When you guys come back from it, that could be a special show to talk about what you saw and what you experienced and everything.
Yeah, definitely. So I'm just trying not to push too much on people and make a huge commitment out of this. But I know a lot of people have a lot of fun listening to it, especially after those that submit questions and things like that. So as usual, the best way to keep on top of what we're doing in the radio shows, we've got a Facebook group for it now, so we can get you guys an invite to that. Also, our web forum, we've got the dedicated web forum, so feel free to post anything you want in there pertaining to the radio show, and we'll go ahead and address questions or anything like that as well, especially if you have questions, comments, or you just want to get on the radio show and talk sometime, because we'll talk about anything, really.
Well, hockey related,
Yeah, definitely. I mean, shoot, if we get down to it, I'll even trash talk some games.
Yeah, I think we could have turned this one into a lot more, because we had so many garage/sales that I mean, we just skimped upon, the Wild and Meigray and the Islanders and the Blues auctions, shit in the bed. So, I mean, I think, I think we have a lot of stuff we can talk about.
Great. Well, we got about 5 minutes left, so if you guys want to touch really quick on the NHL auctions debacle, we can get that at least addressed.
Well, how about I give some information? The Senators are doing theirs online this week. So I think it's the 15th. So they're going to throw all theirs up on the 15th.
On NHL auctions, or doing it through their website like they normally do?
Through their website.
Through their website, yeah, because they sell their own.
Yeah.
Derek, I think, was talking about the Blues had theirs up there, and you said I think the Island, but the Blues had theirs up there for their set 2.
Yeah.
And it like the website it was there, and you clicked on it to get a look at the jersey, or to put on your watch list, and it just took you around the block. You couldn't put bids on it. You couldn't do anything.
So the links were looping?
Yeah, it kept taking you to the registration page.
Oh, wow.
That's what it was doing for me.
Yeah, and I tried it earlier today too, just to see if I could throw a bid out there, because there were several that had no bids on them. And yeah, it would kick me back to my customer page. I'd hit save changes for all my information, and it would just sit there. It wouldn't go anything else beyond that.
I even tried to make a change to see if that would make a change to something, see if it would update it. And so you couldn't put a bid, you couldn't check your watch list, you couldn't.
I would say that happened with the last few rounds of stick auctions too.
I went to Tarasenko like a couple $100 or something like that.
It'll be interesting to see what the recourse is from that.
Well, and there was a lot of decent name players. I mean, $300 and $400 still, or had such low bids. But most people posted said they couldn't do it since about Friday.
I think it ended today. I think they were ending today.
Yep.
So
we'll see if they repost them and just fix the problem, or let them go.
If they let them go, some people got great prices, and I think at the time I saw Tarasenko was the highest one, but he wasn't over 1,000 at the last I saw it.
Yeah, it was a couple hundred.
Yeah, I mean, and there was a bunch that had no bids on them. So,
hey, it's something to be said about getting your bids in early.
Yeah, that's true. If that's what you want to look at it that way, but see what they do.
Derek, was GameWorn.us tracking this auction?
I know we had the Blues one on there. The Islanders we were not, because it wasn't like a true team auction. It wasn't a full set. It was just all the stuff that they couldn't sell in their stale.
Yeah,
So they sell online, and then they're like, all right, here's all the stuff we couldn't sell on our website or anything like that. So here you go on NHL Auctions. And we don't track that. Just the sets.
Yeah, interesting to see what the Blues ones closed at and the resolution.
All right, guys. Well, that brings it to the end of the show. I want to thank all you guys for joining us, especially all you guys that join pretty much every single week, and all of our listeners out there. Thanks for giving us a listen. As usual, you guys know how to get a hold of us. We're going to be doing the show in a couple weeks. I think I'm going to be a little bit too pressed from getting back from the Meigray show to get one started next Sunday. So we're going to have a good week intermission, then we're going to start the new schedule. So for that new schedule, just keep an eye on the usual sources, and we'll stay in touch. So if anybody has any final things to say before we close? Seeing none, thanks for listening, and we'll see you guys next time.